going on, everyone? This is my first ever episode 1, you can call it, of game dev blog. Basically, I'm a young up-and-coming developer about to publish out my first game, definitely still in the alpha stages of development, but basically I want to go through what I kind of got and what my idea is for this game. So basically, to start off, my game's called Off-Roll. You can go follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. Both links will be linked in the description down below, so feel free to click that. But mainly, I want to post these so I can get feedback from the community and mainly see what people not only take of the game, but maybe if something seems a little out of place, you can definitely leave me feedback and I'll definitely take a look at it. Maybe make some changes to it. So going into it very quick, Off-Roll is a turn-based isometric strategy game. Basically, both players start off with 3 unique characters and basically have to battle it out until there's only one player standing. So I'm going to go over a little bit of the design aspects first of what I've decided to go with, and then I'm going to jump into Unity, which the game is being developed in, and show you guys a little bit of what I got going on. So to start off, I like keeping everything down to a formula. So much like many other games, every single character in the game will have 4 unique abilities, and then one, I guess, ability that is selected by the character before the game starts and will have a single purpose. So just to get a little bit into it, I kind of want to design every character so that it all follows the formula. So start off, the Q ability, most basic ability in the kit, basically a very basic either damage ability or, depending on the class, ability that is single target towards that class. W, oddball ability. I want to make this ability very different from all the other abilities, but still stays true to the actual design aspect of that class. E ability for defensive purposes or utility purposes, and then your R ability is your ultimate ability. It does something flashy, does a lot of damage, does something cool. And then last, you have your A ability, which is, I'm calling a unique ability in a sense. Basically, I've designed 3 unique abilities so far: your heal ability, disperse ability, and your drain ability. Basically, what it does is, depending on which one you pick, it has a purpose on all characters within the game. So for instance, heal is a heal single ally for 20% of their max HP, cooldown 10 turns. You got disperse, which pushes all friendly units, basically all friendly units, push all enemy units back 1 square. And then you got your drain ability, which targets an enemy unit, and that unit damage and heals are reduced for 20% for 1 turn. Still working on the cooldowns for most of these abilities because I gotta actually play test the game and I'm still in really early development stages, so we'll see where it goes. So just going down to it, I got the class trees right now. Basically, I'm going to try to design 3 classes and 3 subclasses, so when you actually play the game, you're going to be able to select 3 subclasses that will go into battle against your enemy. And basically, of the 3 subclasses, I want to try and stay true to the main class. So the 3 main classes are Warrior, Marksman, and Mage. And for instance, the Warrior branches off into Berserker, Juggernaut, and Paladin. So each of these will do something a little bit different, but stay true to the Warrior main class. So for instance, Berserker, high DPS, mild movement, very 1v1 focus. You can think of this as very in your face, deals a lot of damage, but is, you know, gets bursted pretty easy and is kind of just to go away and blitz out the opponent, and that's it. Juggernaut, for instance, you're very in most MMOs, your tank class per se, very 1v3 focus, very in your face, drawing a lot of aggro and whatnot. And last but not least, your Paladin class, which is much like the Juggernaut class, where it can be very 1v3 focus, but focuses more on healing and CC lockdown. So with that being said, there is design for each of the 3 subclasses. For instance, the Marksman has the Recon, the Huntsman, and the Windspeaker. But for early development stages, I want to just focus on the Berserker, the Recon, and the Sorcerer. So going into that, I also have a little bit of notes depending on how I want these characters to be designed. So basically, Berserker class strikes an enemy with a sword, 3 AP, single cell damage, cooldown per turn is 2, and you know, just very simple stuff. Q deals damage, your W ability gives self extra damage, your E ability pushes back the enemy, and your R ability does something big which roots an enemy. So obviously it's still early development for this game, Off-Roll, but at the same time I want to kind of get a general idea of what these abilities will be, so when I actually get to that stage I can just code them in and I'm good to go. So again, I don't have anything for Juggernaut yet, nor Paladin, but very simple. stuff for the Recon, and very simple stuff for the Mage class. So the actual design of the game will be a turn-based game as stated above, and I'm not exactly sure on how to do the turn-based system, so please leave your feedback in the description, or sorry, in the comments down below. I'll definitely be taking a look at every single comment, be reading them through, and kind of getting the community feedback on how, or rather what the community feels is the right way to design. So right now I have +1 AP for every unit every second turn, and basically every spell will cost a certain amount of AP. So just going back for reference, let's use the Sorcerer for example. Death Touch costs 3 AP, range of 2, deals 10 damage, cast per turn is 1, and cooldown is 2. So just very simple stuff. But the actual way how I want to do the turns is a little confusing, because I feel like in turn-based games, for the most part, the player going second is usually at a disadvantage. So to counter that, I have a simple flowchart set up depending on how I want to actually structure the turns. So for instance, I have my first one up here, which is the red team character goes, then the blue team character goes, then the blue team character goes, red, blue, red, and then it repeats, which is not too bad, because it allows the player going second to kind of get an advantage in the early-ish stages. But I'm gonna have to run the game through development. I'm gonna have to see how it actually plays out when we test it, and from there I'll decide on a formula. The second one I have planned out is just a simple red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, and it repeats. But the blue team, all characters start with +1 AP. So the main reason why I chose the +1 AP for all characters is mainly it was inspiration from Hearthstone. So, and Hearthstone, for the most part, for those of you who don't play it, it's a card game basically, and in any turn-based game, usually going second isn't that great. So you kind of got to give the player going second a slight advantage in terms of some kind of system. So for instance, in Hearthstone, it's a mana-based system, so every turn mana ramps up. You start with 1, then it goes next turn to 2, 3, 4. So in Hearthstone, they give you a card called the Coin, which starts in your opening hand, and basically what it does is it gives you +1 mana for that turn. So just very simple design aspects. Again, for the most part, I'll leave what I have for Berserker, Recon, and Sorcerer in the description down below for their abilities and whatnot. So if you guys want to take a look at those, tell me what you guys think. Something a little balanced, something a little too broken, a little too underpowered, stuff like that. So yeah, so just let me know and we can get a discussion going. So to jump into the actual project itself, I was lucky enough to find not free assets online, paid assets online, great isometric 2D-ish. I don't know, it's just a really cool design, and this is the kind of design I want to go for, mainly a cartoony, you know, like it doesn't take itself too serious, but at the same time has a very nice vibrant art style to it. And art is definitely something that I'm lacking in when it comes to that. I'm not very experienced in the art department per se, but it's definitely something I'm gonna try and play around with, maybe in Photoshop and whatnot, and definitely see what I can make use of. So right now I have my first map in the game. It's a very symmetrical map in a sense. I believe I have to go over and just kind of fine tune it, but everywhere where there's a block on the first plane will be a starting area. So just to zoom in, it will be these blackish blocks here, and that is where I want the players to start. The map is in its first design phase, so right now it definitely looks a little rough, but I want to kind of fine tune it and kind of get it going in a direction where it's both sides are symmetrical, but at the same time they have their differences and are both noticeable from each other. So very simple. Like I said, I'm in the very early stages of development. If anyone has any tips or tricks or whatever for me, please feel free to leave them in the comments down below. I'll be reading every single comment. And at the same time, I do stream some of my game dev or off-roll game in process on twitch.tv/IcemanShots. So feel free to go there, leave me a follow, hit me up. write in chat, say you found me on YouTube or whatnot, and I'll definitely be I'll definitely give you the respect for not only coming here and watching the game dev vlog #1, but that. So anyways, thank you very much. This game dev vlog #1. I'll try and keep these as up to date as possible with every little feature and update coming out within the game off-roll. Like I said, please follow me on Twitter and Instagram for those lightning fast updates where I'll try and keep those on the daily. So of course, my name is Tristan Garzon. Thank you so much for watching this video, and hit the subscribe for more content to come. This is